Are you burned out? What even is burnout? And how does it apply to grief? We're going to talk about this and how you can deal with burnout today. I'm Molly, and I'm a health coach and a grief mentor, and I have helped thousands of grieving women learn tools and skills to take really good care of themselves through grief. So what even is burnout? Burnout is, let me read this. I'm going to read this because I can't remember anything. Burnout is emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by excessive and prolonged stress. So when you feel overwhelmed and drained, and to the point where you feel like you have nothing left to give and you're just empty. Sounds a lot like grief. Grieving is exhausting. And when you add on top of that all the other responsibilities that you have in life, because the world doesn't stop spinning for us, right? The world goes on. Bills still have to be paid. Children still need to be fed. Jobs still expect you to show up, right? Adding the grief and all of those responsibilities on top of each other can 100% lead to burnout. It can be hard to recognize signs of burnout when you're grieving because so many of the signs are so similar, look exactly like the feelings you already are experiencing because of grief. Because so many of the signs are like an extension of what you're already feeling. In the earliest days of grief, you're doing the best you can to survive. You don't even know what you feel. Everything is a blur and nothing makes sense. But if you are at a point where you're starting to recognize things that are not just grief, you might recognize that you're experiencing burnout. You might be noticing changes in your job, in your relationships, or other things where you thought you had things under control, but now you're not so sure. Some signs of burnout for normal people, for others, people that aren't even going through grief, are feeling disconnected from your work, loss of motivation, numbness, feeling drained, getting sick often, isolating yourself, procrastinating, taking out your frustrations on others, or using food, drugs, or alcohol to cope. These are all things that we might do as a grieving person as well when we are feeling stuck in our grief and we are unsure of how to move with our grief. Again, for those others, causes of burnout might be a high-pressure job, working too much, not having any social support, taking on too many responsibilities, not getting enough rest. If you have perfectionist tendencies, if you try to control situations, if you feel pessimistic about yourself and about the world, these are things that can add up and lead to burnout. So I'm going to share my burnout story. So private coaching takes a lot of energy, even for someone who is normal. As a grieving woman, you understand that we have a limited amount of energy. I also figured out that I was dealing with compassion fatigue, and it was taking a toll on my mental and physical health. I love each of you so much, and I want to be able to mentor everyone and help everyone. But it's challenging for a healthy, normal person to help others carry their grief, let alone for another griever to help so many women carry their grief. I wanted so badly to continue to be there for so many people as possible, that I just kept pushing myself. I kept pushing myself. And now we can see how that turned out. I was not practicing the self-care that I preach. Several things have shifted for me as I have given myself permission to step back and take care of myself. And I hope that some of these ideas might help you too. First, I had to recognize that there was actually a problem. If you're anything like me, you might be hard-headed, and you might not pay attention to the clues that your body is telling you that something's not right. Maybe you're the kind of person that is able to tell when something's off, and you can see the signs, and you can head it off before it gets too bad. And if that's the case, I'm so happy for you that you have that ability to recognize before things go off the deep end. And I hope that you do use these tools, that you do help keep yourself from getting to the point of burnout. But I know there's a lot of people out there like me who have to crash and burn before you learn your lesson. So you gotta stop the bus. You gotta get off. You have to pump the brakes and start to practice these self-care strategies to turn around, to move away from the burnout, and to get back on the path of healing. Seeking support and working through stress management techniques have been key to helping me to continue healing and to reverse burnout. So don't be afraid to reach out to your person. Do you have a friend? Do you have someone else who's on the same journey as you? Do you have a counselor or a therapist or a mentor that you can talk to and say, hey, this is what's going on, and I need help to help figure out the steps of what I can do to stop the bus, to get out, and to turn around and go back to working on healing, to feeling. Reach out to your person, if it's a friend or a mentor, a counselor, a therapist, someone that you are able to talk to, and let them know what's going on, because they might be able to help you see where your challenges are. They might be able to help you see where you can make changes, where you can start focusing on taking care of yourself. Another thing that has been huge to help me is getting off of social media. And I know you hear this, oh, surely you hear this all the time. We know, we've been told, studies have been done that social media is damaging to your mental health. For a normal person, it's amplified. For someone who's grieving, it's been a huge stress reliever for me. It has been such a relief for me to step away from social media. It took time. It's a hard habit to break. But I got off of Facebook and still a little bit on Instagram, but it's not the same as it was. Okay, the truth is, I have an Instagram account for my animals, and I only follow other animals. So to me, that's actually a self-care activity that's not damaging to my mental health. But honestly, as a grieving person, does this sound familiar to you? You get on social media, and what do you see? You see people complaining about mundane things. You see people being mean to each other. You see tragedy 24/7. And you see people saying life is wonderful and showing you the beautiful pictures of their family and #blessed and everything sunshine and roses. And as someone who's grieving, you can't handle seeing tragedy and meanness and people complaining about being stuck in traffic. And you can't handle people who are over here saying life is grand when you are sitting here going, especially if it's someone that you know, it hurts because you're like, how can you say life is grand? You wake up with your babies every day, and you know that every day I wake up and my baby's not here with me physically anymore. And it feels so disconnected, and it feels so wrong. And it just adds to your suffering. Now, getting off of Facebook meant that I was neglecting my amazing group of thousands of grieving women that I have been mentoring for so long. And I felt a lot of guilt about that. Then I realized, what would I have told you if you were in the same situation? Would I have told you that taking care of yourself and getting back into your healing work was more important than getting sucked into that vortex. So I had to take my own advice. Do you need to take a social media break? Maybe even a social media breakup and leave it behind? Where can you remove some negativity from your life that will help you to get out of burnout or avoid burnout and not constantly be filling your mind with negativity or just things that you bump up against that just it hurts every time you see it or read it? How can you use this, even if it's just a tiny bit, even if you're just limiting it to a certain amount of time a day, something like that, or just unfollowing the people that hurt you the most? Something. Just the slightest change is a step in the right direction. Second, I got a real job. If you are miserable at work, is there a chance that you could shift something about your job? Can you take a little bit less responsibility, move to a different department, change careers completely? Is it possible to entertain the idea that that might be something that you need to do to relieve some of that pressure and to relieve some of that stress? What do you think? An opportunity came along for me to be able to work from home with flexible hours and stable income that has taken so much pressure off of financial issues with our family. As I've been getting used to this job and getting used to using my brain for 8 hours a day, I've had limited energy, talk about that a lot, limited energy for anything else. So not only am I like not doing much cooking and cleaning, I also have not had the energy for coaching private clients or group clients or in my membership. And I have had to learn to let go of that guilt as well. So maybe you can change your job. Maybe you can't. So even if you can't change your job, are there other things that you can change? Maybe you can delegate some responsibilities at home. Maybe you can prioritize what really matters or what doesn't matter. And maybe you can just let some of it go. Finally, I've had to focus on building resilience. This is something I've talked about before. I'm going to talk about it again. Building resilience is the final piece to moving forward with your healing. Taking care of yourself physically and mentally and practicing using those tools can help prevent burnout in the future. For me, that has been taking my own advice. Really paying attention to my health, feeding my body food that nourishes it, sticking to my plans for managing my energy with my job and responsibilities and my family, and setting lots and lots of boundaries. What small steps towards becoming resilient are you able to do right now? Are you able to start adding in right now so you can focus on your health, conserve your energy? What boundaries do you need to set? So doing these things has changed how I'm coaching now, and I want to share that with you. Right now, what's best for me is to just make YouTube videos, and I feel like giving you this information for free is fantastic, and I'm happy to continue doing this because I really want to continue to get the word out there so that we can all work on our healing. I've ended my paid membership and I'm not currently available for private or group coaching. But I do have an option over on Patreon, the link is down below, where I'll be blogging a little and where if you want to be able to reach out to me for support, where for a small monthly fee, you will have email access to me for a tiny fraction of my private coaching costs. This will help allow me to create more videos and dedicate more time to supporting you in the future. If this has been helpful for you, I would be honored if you would subscribe to my channel and tap that bell notification so that YouTube will let you know every time that I put out new content. And I would love for you to comment below future topics that you want me to talk about. The pressure that we put on ourselves to keep pushing forward and pretending that we're fine is actually not being honest about what grief really looks like or what it's like to live with the death of your loved one. It's important to me to show others how to love us and how to support us through our grief, and to show them that grief is a normal part of life. And I want fellow grievers to know that everything you're feeling is normal, and it is not about stuffing it down and pushing forward until you're just numb and you think that you're actually dealing with it. But really, we need to recognize those opportunities for healing and recognize that there is hope for living with grief. And we can learn to sit with our emotions and grieve in a healthy way. And you can live in a way that honors your loved one. And maybe you can share your experience with even just one more person that you come across in life who is going through something similar, and you can hold their hand and you can help them know that they are okay too. That's my goal here, to support you and to let you know that there is hope and that we can all heal together. I love y'all so much. Until next time, bye y'all.